Anyone who has driven across the American Southwest knows the feeling. After hours of navigating dark, featureless stretches of desert highway, a rest area is a mandatory sanctuary. They are entirely predictable, open 24 hours, well-lit, and designed to give exhausted drivers a safe place to pull over. Mapping Interstate 40 police reports reveals a terrifying anomaly. There is no exit at mile marker 218, yet data shows a dense cluster of missing person recoveries here. Their final digital footprint, the exact same text message, stopping for coffee, back in 10. Mile marker 218 isn't a physical place you can find on a map. It operates as a predatory environment designed to perfectly mimic the exact sanctuary these isolated drivers are looking for. Biologists call this ambush predation, a hunting strategy where an organism remains concealed, relying entirely on a lure to bring targets into its strike zone. For this anomaly, the trap only sets under two strict conditions. The driver must be traveling alone, and the time must be after midnight. Take the case study of a driver named Logan. He had been navigating the Arizona stretch of I-40 for nearly 11 hours. His fuel tank was half full, but his biological need for sleep was rapidly overriding his cognitive focus. At the peak of his physical vulnerability, a glowing blue sign appears on the shoulder. Rest area, 1 mile. Advertising free coffee. The trap offers the precise resource his compromised body is desperate for. A fully rested mind might question why a random desert rest stop is offering complimentary hot drinks in the middle of the night. But extreme exhaustion completely disables those analytical defenses, allowing the trap's biological bait to work exactly as intended. When Logan takes the exit, the immediate physical environment presents a stark contradiction. The facility itself is immaculate, featuring brightly lit vending machines and freshly poured pavement, but the vehicles sitting in the lot tell a completely different story. Curious, none of the parked cars match the current year. The lot is filled with models that were discontinued ages ago, bearing license plate designs from states that haven't issued them in decades. Thick layers of desert dust blanket the windshields, and spiderwebs stretch across the mirrors. These assets have been frozen in place for months, if not years. One pickup truck still carries faded, sun-bleached Christmas decorations, a relic of a holiday past long ago. The parking lot functions as a temporal collection point. It aggregates victims from entirely different decades and binds them into a single localized stasis. Inside the small cafe, the sensory cues continue to break down. The coffee the waitress pours is unnaturally hot, close to a rolling boil, yet none of the other patrons seem to notice.
In fact, they aren't talking or eating at all. They sit perfectly rigid, staring blankly out the window toward the highway. The waitress pours Logan's coffee before he even asks, greeting him with a smile and noting how tired he looks.
When he stands to leave and mentions he has another 6 hours to drive, she simply lowers her eyes and tells him he doesn't. The confirmation that the local physics have completely degraded hangs right on the wall. The second hand on the cafe's mechanical clock is violently ticking backward, one slow tick at a time. The moment Logan realizes he needs to leave, the illusion drops. The lights across the parking lot instantly snap off, and every frozen customer inside the cafe stands up in unison, their chairs scraping the floor at the exact same millisecond. They don't attack him, they simply wait. The interior of the cafe acts as a secondary containment measure. By overloading the victim with reversed physics and impossible sensory data, the trap induces total psychological paralysis. Escaping into the lot, Logan spots an old emergency call box. It's his last physical tie to the outside world, and when he picks up the receiver, a 911 dispatcher answers immediately.
He tells her he's trapped at a rest area on I-40. The operator goes completely silent, quietly asking him what year he thinks it is. She begins to cry, explaining that her own father disappeared at that exact location in 1994, and Logan is currently speaking through his missing emergency phone. With the line dead, the surrounding geography rapidly collapses. Logan runs into the desert, but the interstate is entirely gone. The stars overhead are fixed in place, and the screen on his GPS unit drops all mapping data, displaying a single word: waiting. The spatial illusion of the highway was only necessary to get him through the door. Once inside, the trap pulls its prey into an isolated pocket of space, completely severing them from our reality. The timeline jumps forward 3 full days. Highway patrol officers finally locate Logan's vehicle pulled over on the shoulder of Interstate 40. He is asleep in the driver's seat, and the engine is still idling. When investigators searched the perimeter, they found empty desert. There was no café, no paved exit ramp, and no tire tracks leading away. By all conventional logic, Logan simply pulled over and fell asleep. But there is one piece of physical evidence that breaks that theory. After sitting in the desert for 72 hours, the cup of coffee in his center console is still warm. Months later, a postcard arrives in Logan's mail with no return address. The front features a photograph of the non-existent rest area at sunset. On the back, someone has handwritten, "Thanks for visiting," right above a marked loyalty stamp that reads, "Visit 1 of 5." At the very bottom of the card is a single printed sentence letting him know his next coffee is free. The trap is confirming that his escape is purely temporary and his return is already scheduled. Surviving the midnight terminal is an illusion. The phantom rest area permanently tethers its visitors, guaranteeing that every person who manages to leave is eventually pulled back.